Of course, where there are people, there is need for service delivery. In cases of a government and its citizens, there is need for service delivery, which comes through infrastructure development, the clinics, the schools that the government will build for its citizens to access those services, the support for social welfare for the aged, disadvantaged, and the vulnerable is the other area where it is financed for service delivery. This does not leave out the household. At every household, you will see utilities, electricity, water, and other bills. The need for the income to fund service delivery, it be at government level or at the house level. Hence, we see revenue authorities assigned to collect these taxes to fund service delivery. But what about the temple of God? Doesn't it have utilities, water, electricity, other logistics, printing, typing documents? This is why today, as Gostaviour Foundation under our Gospel Outreach Program, we are looking at offerings and tithes in the house of God. I am your host, Gostaviour, Temple student, theology, Evangelical Bible University, Western Australia, as well as Chief Executive Officer, Gostaviour Foundation. To begin our interaction, I will reference it to the scripture, Matthew 17:24-27. And Jesus and his disciples arrived in Capernaum. The collectors of temple tax came to Peter and said, "Doesn't your teacher pay the temple tax?" "Yes, he does," replied Peter. When Peter came to Jesus, Jesus was the first to speak. "What do you think, Simon?" he asked. "From whom do the kings of the earth collect the duty and taxes? From their own children or from others?" "From others," Peter answered. Then Jesus said, "Then the children are exempt." But Jesus said, "But so that we may not offend them, go to the lake, and the first fish that you catch, open its mouth, there is a coin there. Take it, go and pay for my tax and yours." You see that in olden days, as per Jewish tradition, every male above the age of 20 could pay annual temple tax. The payment for the utilities and other logistics. Same applies today. Who is going to pay this kind of a tax for the church, for the work of God to continue running? Who is going to pay these offerings and tithes for the work of God to go on? You will see that tithes is a form of a tax. 10% of what you earn, you give it to the work of God. Today, we do not call it temple tax, but we are familiar with tithes and offerings. Just as it happened in the olden days, we too are obligated to pay our offerings and our taxes. After all, they are for the church to continue running. After all, they are funding utilities, bills, logistical bills for each and every work of God. I again refer you to Matthew 4 verse 19. "Come, follow me," Jesus said, "and I will show you how to fish people." Peter, Andrew, the brother, used to catch fish. And Jesus changes the scenario. Instead of catching fish, you are now going to catch people. In the place of fish, there are now people. Where men of God could catch fish, now they are catching people. And inside each and every person, there is money, which is supposed to be used to pay for the utilities, just as the scripture said. Money will come from the people, from the fish, to settle for these utilities.